everyone, it's Lindsay and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the beginner step-by-step on how to start a photography business with only $500 or less. If you guys don't know, I started a photography business back in high school and I had no money. I barely had any money to start. So I wanted to share my tips and tricks and how I did that into becoming a successful photography business. So when starting a photography business, it's definitely possible to start with only $500, and here is some careful planning and a step-by-step guide in how you can get started. Number one, assess your current equipment. This is super important. This is what's going to be taking your photos. This is going to be your main source of how you're going to start your business. So the most important thing is your camera. If you already have a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, that's a big plus. If not, you can find good used cameras like the Canon EOS Rebel series or the Nikon D3500 for under $300. Personally, I'm a Nikon girl. I started with the Nikon D3300 and then I worked my way up to a D3500 and then kept working my way up. I started with a cheaper camera, and then the more money I made from for photo shoots and making money from photography or even other jobs that I had, I would slowly save up for a bigger and better camera. But these cheaper ones are great as well. They do the job and they're great cameras. I would say with your camera, the next important thing is a lens. Obviously, you need a lens to take a camera or it's not gonna work. You can start with a versatile lens like the 50mm f1.8. It's affordable, often $100 or less, and great for portraits. I totally agree with this. I say that having an aperture of f1.8 is going to give you that blurry background. It's going to make your photos look very professional. They make for great portraits, and it really steps up your photography game. Instead of just having everything in focus, you have just your subject and your background is blurry. A 55mm doesn't go very far, but it's a great starter lens if you're not shooting from far away. Normally with like sports, you need a longer lens because you need to zoom in more. But if you're just taking portraits, this is a great starter lens for you. The next important thing are memory cards. This is where you're going to store all of your photos. I have between me and Carter, my husband, we have probably 50 SD cards. We go through them so much with filming, taking photos, all that good stuff. But memory cards are going to, obviously, it's essential for your photography business if you are having clients because you need to save your photos somewhere. And honestly, your camera won't let you take photos without a SD card. So that's very important. Number two is invest in basic accessories. Accessories are actually very important. A lot of photographers forget about these, and they're not even that expensive. Number one is a tripod. Get a budget tripod for around $20 to $30. You can find them on Amazon. It's essential for stability, especially in low light or long exposure shots. Now, I don't use a tripod very often, but when I am shooting events and things like that, or if I'm in one place for a long time, I will use a tripod. It is very useful. I like to be just free and not be secluded to a tripod. But if you are shooting things at events, you're not really moving around, a tripod is a great option. Or if you aren't very, you're not used to the stability of a camera and you're shaky, a tripod is a great use for you. Lighting. Now this is so important. Lighting really determines how high quality your photos are. Natural light is free, but if you need artificial lighting, consider buying a budget-friendly softbox or ring light, about $30 to $50. Now, these definitely do range in price. I started out with soft boxes, and then the more I started getting more photo shoots and getting more money, I invested in ring lights. The ring lights, in my opinion, are more expensive. You can find expensive soft lights out there, but soft lights are probably the most budget friendly, and I definitely suggest using a soft light first. Another great thing to get if you are looking to edit photos, edit your portraits, edit any kind of photography that you're doing. If you want to edit, it's really important to invest in a good editing software. Using free editing softwares like GIMP or Darktable to start. You can also get Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop for about $10 a month if your budget allows it. Now, I have not used any of the free services. I've heard great things about them, and I've heard that they are pretty easy to use. Personally, when I first started out, I started paying the $10 a month for Photoshop in Lightroom, and that did amazing. We still use Photoshop today, but our budget kind of went up because we use all the Adobe softwares, not just Lightroom and Photoshop. But getting a Lightroom and Photoshop is only $10 a month. Not really much. I definitely suggest using that over a free service, but the choice is up to you. Okay, now this step is so important. This is honestly what made my business grow, and that is setting up an online portfolio. You can get a website. You can use free or affordable platforms like Wix, WordPress, or Squarespace. Some offer free plans, or you can get a domain as little as $10 to $20 a year. Personally, I started out with Wix. I don't use my website that much just because I get my clients from other places. But if a website gets you, I would definitely experiment with different kinds of platforms. If a website works for you, that's great. For me, it worked here and there, but I definitely think that if you're starting out, definitely make a website. And you could definitely use Wix. I used it and it was great. The biggest advertising I think that you could use is social media. Create a business profile on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest to showcase your work. Use these platforms to attract potential clients. This is hands down the number one reason how I got clients. Most of my business comes from Facebook, and I also do Facebook ads. And I get majority of clients on Facebook. I know Instagram is a big one also. And you can use Pinterest as well. I have all of these, and it's not that hard to use, not that hard to create. And it's really fun to be able to create a profile online to show everyone. The last advertising tip is business cards. Use a service like Vistaprint to get 100 to 250 business cards for under $20. These are great for networking. Yes, business cards are a total must in my opinion. There has been so many times I've gone to a football game, school events, and people are asking me for my business cards. And before I had them, I would be like, I don't have any. But now I just give them the card and they call me, and it is awesome. You can also use business cards to put on bulletin boards at restaurants, schools, things like that. But I think having a business card is very essential. Number 4 is market yourself on a budget. You can leverage social media, you can share your work, engage with your audience, and use relevant hashtags to increase visibility. Offer a free or discounted shoot to build a portfolio. This is great. When I was first starting out, I'd give away free shoots. I still sometimes do. I'll do like a raffle that you have to like share and like in order to get a free photo shoot, and then I pick a winner, and it's great. I end up giving everyone else that entered a small discount. And discounts are such an advantage because even if it's only like 10%, people are still leaning into that discount and want to use it. This advertising is big for me, and that's word of mouth. Telling friends, family, and local businesses about your services. Word of mouth is often the most effective marketing tool. And that's 100% right. I've had so many people, friends, family, tell their friends and family, hey, Lindsay's a great photographer. She's at a great price, great work. And word of mouth, it really gets around. The next one is collaborate. Work with local models, makeup artists, or influencers to build your portfolio and get exposure. That's a great thing too. Working with people who know how to pose for a camera is amazing. You get the most amazing shot. The next thing is Google My Business. Set up a free Google My Business account so local clients can find you easily. That's a great way for clients to find you. The next step is offer services that require minimal investment. So you don't have to put money into it in order to make money, such as portrait photography. This requires minimal props and setup. This is the photography that I mainly do. We just show up at a park. Obviously, there are photo shoots where I do have to invest in money and props and backdrops, but a lot of it, especially in the summertime, we just use nature as our background and not much money goes into it for investing. The next one is event photography. You can offer your services for small local events like birthdays or family gatherings. This is a big one. This is a great way to make a bunch of money in one sitting. It's awesome because if you do one event, then one time I did a bridal shower. I took photos for their bridal shower, and then a year later they got pregnant and I took it for their baby shower, and then I took the baby's newborn pictures, and then I take the 1-year-old pictures, and then family, and it goes on and on and on. So doing events, Even if you're not an event photographer and you just want to do portraits, I definitely suggest doing events as well because one, they're very fun, and two, they create clients along the way. You end up having them as a client that you'll eventually do their portrait photography. The next one is product photography for small businesses. Local businesses often need good product images for their websites and social media. This is a great way to get out there too, not just doing people, but doing products and widening your range of things that you can take photos of. Because I wouldn't seclude yourself to just people or just portraits or just events. I would suggest challenging yourself and doing lots of different photography. The next one is manage your finances. Set your rates carefully. Start with competitive rates to build your client base. As your portfolio grows, you can increase your prices. This is definitely true. There is a fine line between too cheap, too expensive, and just right. I do suggest starting lower with the amount of experience that you have. If you don't have much experience, I wouldn't be charging top dollar. It also depends on your camera quality. I wouldn't be charging top dollar if you have just a generic $300 camera. But also don't sell yourself short, because I feel like when I first started, I did that and I charged way too little for the work that I was doing. I was working my butt off. I was giving high quality photos. And since I had only been doing it for a year or so, only a couple years, I felt like I wasn't able to charge that much. So find that balance. You also will find out, if clients say, oh no, thank you, that's too expensive, you kind of figure out what range is good for you, what will bring in clients, and things like that. The next one is track your expenses. Use free tools like Google Sheets or a simple app like Wave to keep track of your income and expenses. This is really important, especially when you're first starting out. You need to make sure that you keep track of what you're making and if you need to invest more in certain things. If you're spending too much money on accessories and things like that, you're not profiting any money. I think it's very, very important to track your income and your expenses. So here is an example of a little budget breakdown. You have a DSLR camera. A used one is about $250 and a brand new one is about anywhere from $300 to $350, I would say. A lens, you could probably get the 50 millimeter with an aperture of 1.8 for $100. A tripod, $30. Softbox ring light, anywhere from $30 to $50. A memory card, $20. Business cards, $20. And then a website is around $20 to $30. In total, you'll be spending about $470 to $500. Obviously, this does determine what camera you get, what softbox you get, things like that, but it will roughly be about $500. By using what you already have and focusing on basic essential purchases, you can stay under $500 and still launch a photography business. As you grow, you can reinvest in better gear and more advanced tools. Now, that is all the steps that I have for you guys for starting a photography business with only $500 or less. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more media videos. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.